Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. So I'm here today with the Saturn return in Aquarius / in the 11th house. So the whole idea of this video is that it's in connection with the Saturn return. So we're looking at 6 things that the Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn in the 11th house individual wishes they knew whenever they were 20. So the Saturn return happens around about the ages of 28 to 30. So this is kind of like the 30-year-old self speaking to the 20-year-old self through this kind of maturity process, you know, through the lessons that an individual learns as they mature, as they get older. So yeah, also I just want to say, if you have Saturn conjunct Uranus, I suggest watching this video. And also, even if you have Uranus in the 10th house to an extent, I suggest watching this video as well. So any of the placements I've said so far, definitely watch this video, okay? However, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about your Saturn sign, your Saturn house, along with your Capricorn house and your 10th house within your natal birth chart, then I have created a Capricorn season / archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box so that you can pick up your copy today if you would like. Alright, so with all those introductions out of the way, Saturn in Aquarius, or the 11th house, let's do this. Hi, my name is Aquarius. I am 30 years old, and these are 6 things that I wish I knew at 20. The first thing I wish I knew at 20 is that I physically have to make an effort in order to be involved or included within a group. Growing up, I used to feel quite awkward around other people. I did go through periods of rejection from friends, from group activities. I just didn't feel understood around my peers and around others. And so I had the tendency of distancing myself. The moment that I didn't really connect with someone, or we didn't really meet each other in the way that I thought we should have, I had the tendency of just withdrawing and feeling so misunderstood and just not heard. I also had the tendency of isolating myself from other people. I just felt like it was hard for me to connect. Even whenever I was surrounded by others, there was a part of me that felt alone. But as I have grown, as I've matured, I've learned that I've had to take responsibility and hold myself accountable by pushing myself to speak, to ask questions, to get an opinion from somebody. Anytime I was met with resistance, I just had this urge to be like, I don't want to do this, I can't be bothered with this. But now I'm so much more resilient. I'm so much more capable, and I have the ability to put myself out there, to get involved, to make myself included into situations. Sure, yes, I'm not always gonna be included, but at the same time, that's not necessarily a deliberate or personal rejection towards me. I used to think that if I didn't get the joke, or if I didn't really understand what was going on, then maybe there was some sort of hidden agenda against me. Like I was somehow weird because I didn't get it, or I wasn't welcome because I didn't get it. But I'm realizing that no, just because others decide to do things without me, or they have a personal joke between them that doesn't include me, it doesn't mean that I'm less of a person, or that they don't accept me in other ways. Basically, I've really learned how to grow up in terms of not taking things so seriously and to heart when it comes to other people and what they choose to do with their lives. Yes, I was rejected from friends who I thought were my friends growing up, but through that process of being shut out, being rejected, being misunderstood, I was able to learn a lot of valuable lessons and then find people in my life who do accept me for me, who actually are like-minded, who get me, who do understand me. And so I've learned on my journey a lot about the types of people that I want to associate myself with. And I guess that this also extends to the types of clubs that I joined growing up, because when I was younger, I had this tendency of joining a group or club, going once or twice, being terrified by it, being overwhelmed, being scared, having a lot of self-doubts, criticizing myself, feeling like I wasn't good enough, being scared to ask questions. So I would then give up. I would then walk away from that group or club that I joined. But now I realize that those doubts were things that were stemming from myself. And so I've joined a community where we get together every weekend and we connect over like-minded subjects together. And through that process, yes, it was very uncomfortable at the beginning, really uncomfortable, but now, wow, I have broken through a lot of barriers between myself and others. And now I'm in a position where I'm excited. Like, I'm so excited to go to this club that I'm a part of every single weekend, to be with the people that are there consistently, like I'm there consistently. And so through that process, I've really learned a lot about commitment and integrity and showing up. So yeah, I wish I knew when I was 20 that if I want to break down barriers with others, I gotta break down those barriers within myself. The second thing I wish I knew when I was 20 is that telling others what I think about something, so expressing, sharing my opinion about something, doesn't mean that I'm being too much or that I'm being annoying. I had this tendency of keeping what I really thought about something to myself out of fear of how it would have been perceived by other people. Even when it came to the friendship circles I was a part of, I had this tendency to just kind of go along with the crowd and not really express my opinions, because I didn't feel like it was important enough. I didn't feel like I really had anything of value to contribute to the group anyway. But now, being the age that I am, I realize that what I have to say is valuable, what I have to share. So my opinions, the way I see things through my unique perspective, they matter, you know, it matters. And I'm not being overwhelming or annoying or too much for people to handle whenever I share what I think. And even if others think I'm being too much, then I guess that is their thing. That's what they think. I can't control how other people are going to perceive me in that way. And I also realized that a lot of that was coming from me. It was my own blockages. It was my own self-doubt. Just thinking that people weren't really going to listen or get it or understand. So being the age that I am now, I realized that it's okay to express what I think about something. Not necessarily changing my opinion based on the collective's opinion. I'm still within my right to think what I think and share what I think. And if that opens a bigger discussion, if it opens a sort of debate, or if maybe it's a bit controversial, then so be it. Even when it came to sharing how I felt about something, I used to have this fear that I would be seen as weak for sharing how I felt. But now I actually see that by sharing and communicating how I feel, it's a strength. It takes a lot of courage, and that has been part of my maturity process over the years. The third thing I wish I knew when I was 20 is that it doesn't matter what others think of me, but at the same time it does matter. And what I mean by this is that, yeah, sure, it doesn't matter what literally every person thinks of me. I mean, at the end of the day, not every person knows me personally and what I've been through, what I've experienced throughout my life. But at the same time, the thoughts and opinions of other people can still be valuable. They can have some sort of value, but that's up to me to decipher that value for myself. Especially when it comes to my friends and my family, my partner, my boss, the ones that are in my life that do know me. I do like to consider their opinions and their thoughts of how they see me and what they think. I like being able to ask them for their opinion because I feel that I can learn a lot from their opinion. Again, you know, it's not about being concerned with what everybody thinks of me, but for me to be to have some sort of control over that in a way, to be able to take the opinions of others, which, to be fair, I can't control that, right? I can't control what other people think of me. But what I can control is how I respond, how I react to what other people say or think of me. So I really learned how to decipher that, you know, between what is valuable in terms of who's saying what and what they're thinking. And what I've come to understand is that I would much rather have a few really solid, reliable relationships in my life where there's honesty and there's integrity and there's that respect than all these really superficial people who don't necessarily know me in a very deep personal way. During my younger years, I just desperately wanted to be accepted by other people. But I've come to realize that, you know, I don't have to be accepted by everybody. And besides, why do I want to be accepted by everybody? Why did I care so much about all of that? I guess in a way that maybe suggests that I was a little bit self-obsessed if I wanted so much for everybody to like me and accept me. And besides, again, it's just not realistic. It's just not. Oh my gosh, guys. Looking back, I just wish my 20-year-old self just would have woken up from that and just realized how unrealistic it was and that I could have not have controlled what other people thought. The fourth thing I wish I knew when I was 20 is that isolating myself just because others do not understand is quite an unhealthy way of dealing with things. Yeah, I had the tendency of neglecting myself, isolating myself from other people who just didn't get it. I used to point out at the world and be like, nobody understands me, nobody gets what I'm going through, no one's gonna know how I feel, just nobody's gonna get it. But then after stepping out of that and seeking advice and help from other people, so communicating with people about things they're going through, I realized just how similar people's experiences are to my experiences, and that we all go through a lot of the same things within our lives. And yes, there are many things that I have experienced that other people haven't, and yes, there are plenty of things that I haven't experienced that other people have experienced. but there's still some similarities within our experiences because of the human condition. My gosh, I used to really just think that I was the only one going through something, or that, yeah, sure, I've been through something, but this person over here hasn't been through the exact same thing as me, and so they can't possibly get it. But there's so many more layers to it, I'm realizing, and that there's similar emotions that come from different experiences that still connect. And so they resonate. So yeah, I realized that sure, we all have our different stories in life, but there can still be times, situations, people who can remind us of ourselves, can remind us of the things that we've been through. Come to think about it, isolating myself would have just had the reverse effect and would not have helped in any way, even though I really desperately wanted for people to help and people to understand. I mean, how am I going to expect other people to understand me, to get me, if I'm distancing myself from other people and isolating myself? Yeah. So that's something that I wish I knew at 20. The fifth thing I wish I knew at 20 is, well, what it actually means to be a good friend. I know, it seems kind of crazy, but I don't even think I knew what it meant to be a friend back then. I had this tendency of being good with older people, more mature people, so I would have been really comfortable with talking to teachers, with parents, so my friends' parents, or with older people like the elderly, or even just with bosses and managers in work. I had the potential to communicate and connect with them, but still, when it came to this whole like being a friend in a personal way, or knowing how to be a substantial, consistent, reliable friend, I think I wasn't really the best. And I'm trying to think of why it was. Is it that me confiding or communicating with older people, was that something that was used as a way to distract me from getting on with my peers or getting on with others in a more personal way? I don't know, but looking back, I realized that I pushed people away. I cut people off sometimes. I didn't want to take responsibility when it came to things I did within my friendships. I didn't hold myself accountable. I just really had to mature in terms of my friendships. And from being the age that I am now, I realized that friendships, just like any relationship, requires hard work. So kind of going back to the first point of making an effort to be included, same could be said with making an effort to be a friend. But what I've realized is that being a good friend means being reliable, being consistent, being solid, being giving, being thoughtful, being there, helping out people in need, serving my friends to the best that I can, and just being honest, you know, and showing respect towards my friendships, and just having integrity within my friendships. So back then I may not have knew all this, which I wish I knew, but now, being the age I am, I've learned a lot, valuable lessons, and also I will say this, I've learned a lot from those relationships that I formed with more mature, older types as well. I would say that because I think that from me getting on with these people, they showed me how to be mature, you know, how to be a mature, respectable friend myself. And I also learned a thing or two of how to contribute to society through these people as well. So I was able to understand my purpose better, understand maybe the type of role that I wanted to play out within society as a whole. And the sixth and final thing that I wish I knew when I was 20 is how to let go of the harsh criticisms, judgments that I held towards society. I used to just blame society for everything that was wrong with me. I used to take out my own inner fears and insecurities, take them all out on my friends, on the people that were really supposed to provide me with a sense of community. But instead, kind of going back to everything I've been talking about, I just pushed people away so much. I guess in a way, I constantly had this opinion that everybody else was the problem. Everybody else is the issue, without taking time to reflect on me, on my stuff, on the walls that I had, on the issues that I had to process and deal with. So when I stopped blaming everybody else around me and I just reflected on myself, on what I had to look at and address, things got easier for me. Things definitely started to lighten up and I matured a lot. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes the Saturn return in Aquarius / the 11th house video. Now if you do happen to have any of these placements, and also if you have Saturn conjunct Uranus or Uranus in the 10th house as well, then let us know what you thought of the video in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!